Okay, now that my grout is glazed in, I'm going to work on the highlights of the rocks, which will help to differentiate the rocks from the grout a little bit more. Now, I'm going to just basically use a smidgen of white and then water. And I just want everybody to remember, while you're working for a theater, you typically don't have a lot of time and you typically don't have a lot of money. So you really make the most out of just a little bit of paint. So I'll show you how far that little smidgen of white paint can go and how it can absolutely help these rocks pop and make them look three-dimensional. So I'm going to water down this white and kind of make a little glaze. And I'm going to keep pulling from that blob of white as I need to go, but I just need a little bit. And when we're working with, adding highlights and shadows to something, remember that keeping the highlights and shadows consistent helps it look more three-dimensional, helps create that trompe l'oeil, fool the eye kind of painting. Like, this is basically, I'm fooling your eye. I'm making you think that there's rocks painted here when it's just a flat canvas. So keeping all the highlights consistent will help, and the shadows, and just having one light source. And you guys know this because you're artists. So I have that thin glaze, not really thick. Okay, and gonna put it on that side, and I'll just keep going around, and then I'll come back and kind of like feather these a little bit as it sits. I'll do like 4 of them. Okay. And then as it sits and kind of soaks into the canvas, I kind of come back and feather them out with I just dried off my brush real quick. Just dried it off here. And then I'm going to feather them so that it's not such a stark highlight. All right, I'll do some more. And this is where I need to kind of control my paint, see what's going on. I started to add a highlight here, and I don't think I'm getting enough white in there. So I'm going to pull from a little blob of white paint as I go, kind of judge. And if the highlight is just not looking light enough, I can always add a little bit more. It's hard to take away and erase, but it's easy to add. As you're going, you kind of feel out your brush and see how it works. Every brush is different. And then, as you're working, your brush sort of loses water. So it's up to you to decide when to add more water and, when to not, and when to dry it off. And as you're looking at it, come back, like this one here clearly needs me to kind of feather it out a little. And that one I think got a little overzealous. Look at that. That one became a little too thick with white paint. So what I'll do is I'll come back with I'll wet my brush, clean it off a little bit, and kind of feather that out. And see, it actually happens quite quickly. Just keep going and adding little bits as you go. You be the judge if you need more of a highlight or not. Ooh, that one was pretty stark, so I'm going to have to feather that one. This one looks like it could use a little more. And I have done this where I have to go even faster, and the show is maybe not as fancy and frou-frou, so I'll just do a quick highlight like that and just leave it there. And then from the audience, it actually still looks okay. But if I do have the time to feather and soften these highlights, then I definitely do. So you go ahead and try this out and see how it goes and see how you like it. And, you just have to really control your paint, control the water in your brush, control how much water's in your paint, and start feeling it out.